Guys are having afternoon. I got eyelash glue that didn't work all over my fingers, so I'm sorry, y'all. You're gonna see me fiddling with them.
Yeah. As we always say, be stacking, stacking, stacking. Stacking your Satoshis, stacking your ounces, stacking any other investments or any other coins, tokens that you may have. Steadily be stacking. We like to say dollar cost averaging and making sure you're getting as much as you can possibly get, especially of your Satoshis, which is ultimate scarcity, and eventually you won't be able to get them, and that's interesting and something she's going to talk about later on in the show.
Yep.
But yeah, we're going to wait to see if a few people pop in the room, and then we'll go into it.
It's Tequila Tuesday, my darling.
Okay, Tequila
What are
Tuesday.
you drinking today?
I gotta reach around.
Oh, boy.
Pause.
It's a family-friendly show. We're the first family of Bitcoin. Let us not have these type of comments.
Sorry, this is what I had to do. So we got this Viuda de Romero.
Jay Romero.
It's beautiful. It's plata. It's plata. I prefer the clear tequila, but I will drink the brown tequila as well.
Gold.
Yeah, it's a gold.
No, I'm saying the gold tequila.
Yeah.
I never call it brown. I always call it gold.
As they would call it, reposado. So I'll drink it from time to time, but this is a little. It's got a little bite to it. It's a little crisper.
Is that a black spider? A black widow, I mean.
Yes, that's a black widow. And this is going to be where are we at? Boom, boom, boom. This is from Desde, 1852. So from 1852, so they've been making this tequila since 1852, and you get 35% alcohol volume. There's very good, it's healthy things that you can get from tequila. We went over it. It's good for you. Take a shot or two here or there. It has an appetite suppressant. What else does it have? It keeps your blood sugar a little lower, and that's pretty good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. We try to stay healthy. You know, health is wealth. Is what they say. So where do you want to start?
So I think we have to start with the elephant in the room, the orange elephant in the room. So we have been enjoying what's called a Bitcoin explosion. So we saw Bitcoin go up to almost 68,000. I think it went over to 68,000. I think it was 68,800 and change. Right now, right, pushing 69, right? And that would have pushed through any all-time high they reported. I did notice different reports of different all-time highs. So I'm not really sure which one is the actual one. When I looked at the chart, I believe the all-time high was at like 67 or something like that. Do you remember what I said when I looked at the chart?
I think it was close to 69, but
yeah, there were different
it's up in the air.
reports.
There's different reports, and as you see, it's rated at 64. So a little volatility in the last few days.
A lot.
Like we talked about, we did a show on SOPR, spent output profit ratio, that you can check out on glassnode.com, and it has charts, and you can see who's selling and buying, and you can see the age of the coins that are being sold. So was this a newer coin that was sold? Was it somebody who had an older wallet that sold? And it's a really good technical analysis tool. You know, the charts are kind of a little difficult to understand, and if you check out our good friend Will Clemente, he goes over SOPR very well. Will Clemente, you can catch him on Twitter. He's a very smart young man. So you can just see who's selling and who's buying. People are taking heavy profits when it hits that and it gets rejected right there at the all-time high. People are ready to take profits. So it needs to break through the all-time high, which would be resistance, and you can flip the resistance
Into support.
into support. So that's what's really going on right now. And it's all good. It's all good. It's a fun ride. We had a fun ride. You know, people, like us, and hopefully like you, who are hodlers, you just sitting and watching. Like you just holding. There's a lot of traders out there though who just want their profit. So you can see them taking off profit. So check out that SOPR, spent output profit ratio, on glassnode.com, and just see who's selling and who's buying. And it'll give you an idea of maybe where the price may be going, if you understand technical analysis.
Well, the Bitcoin explosion actually prompted an interesting conversation between Simon and I. As we were doing like Bitcoin news updates, something kind of caught my attention, and I thought it would be a good discussion point for us as a family, content cousins included. So we noticed that Fidelity, BlackRock, was it Grayscale? Was there the third one?
Yeah, Grayscale Bitcoin.
The U.S. government, they all have extremely large amounts of whole coins. With that being said, in all of the Bitcoin explosion, we're now getting people who you've been trying to orange pill for 1,000 years, who now want to initiate the discussion on their end for, what is Bitcoin? We're back to that, you guys. What exactly is this Bitcoin? It's been trending in the news. Can you refresh my memory and tell me what exactly it is? So we're back to those discussions. Anyway, as Simon and I were talking, we were just kind of thinking along the lines of, if Fidelity and BlackRock and Grayscale and MicroStrategies and all of these large players are hoarding the Bitcoin, there is going to come a point when Bitcoin's not going to be as easily accessible, right? So in this, as we like to call, excitement and explosion, people are taking off profits and so on and so forth. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining us, love. As people, are in the excitement, selling, taking profits, one of the things that we kind of want to get across to you guys is, yes, take profits, reinvest in
Something that you may feel is more stable or that you're comfortable with. And, like she said, or did you say, do something nice for yourself, catch a little, do a little something.
But be mindful that you don't want to squander your Bitcoin in the process, right? Don't sell it to the last drop. Even if Bitcoin hits 150,000, 550,000, $1 million, whatever it is that they're saying it's going to hit, what we want to do is we want to dollar cost average so persistently and so committedly that you always have a bit of Bitcoin on the back end. Now, granted, as we were kind of spitballing this future world where Bitcoin may not be as accessible, they are trying to price retailers out. For those of you who don't know what that means, that's the everyday, or as Stacey Herbert would say, that's the Joe Bag of Donuts. They're trying to price the average person out so that they can, all that they demonize, while they're demonizing it, they are buying it in large quantities. They are buying it, what I like to call Costco style wholesale. So there is going to come a time where, yes, we probably can access it peer-to-peer.
Yeah, definitely. And, you might have to buy your Bitcoin from different places. There was a story yesterday from Bitcoin Chris. Shout out to Bitcoin Chris about someone being unable to buy Bitcoin.
He was unable.
Oh,
he tried to
him?
buy, he tried to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. I wasn't sure what exchange it was. I probably could have just DM'd him and asked him, but the exchange was already sold out, and he screenshotted it on X. So, we just want to kind of move in a way where we're always strategic. We're always very, methodical in our movements, how we operate, what we do, where we do it, how we do it, who we do it with, so on and so forth. But I'm looking to see if Fidelity and BlackRock, et cetera, they have all of this Bitcoin. especially like MicroStrategies, right? His Bitcoin is really not to, in a sense, sell. He has a 99-year
Yeah.
plan for his Bitcoin. If everybody adopts this hodler-like
Yeah.
behavior,
Yeah, that's good, and I'm glad you said that because you want to have a hodler like behavior, but you want to also have some accessible Bitcoin that you can sell for a profit. You know, that's why a lot of people like to use Cash App, right? You might have a amount of Bitcoin over there when you see you could take profits, right? And then you got your other Bitcoins that's just locked up in your wallets and not to be sold, just to be held. So you know, and that's just if you get down like that. But yeah, it was an interesting day, interesting past 2 days. And just if you watch the charts and see what's going on, uh, uh, I think I found it fun. This is one of the things I think being a Bitcoiner is fun. It's fun, you know, to me. But you know, that's kind of it's not for everybody. But go ahead. Some people popped in the room.
I do want to thank Easy Fix for joining the room.
Uh-oh.
Easy Fix had a very interesting comment.
Mm.
Um, Easy Fix stated that, does anyone else find it interesting that all the U.S. markets took a decent hit while there were several telecom and social media outages? For those of you who may or may not be aware, Meta was down for a few hours today, had everybody thinking that their Facebooks got hacked,
Yeah.
Simon family included. um, um, so Meta powers Facebook, Instagram, and I think for a couple of users, WhatsApp was out because Facebook has some type of weird integration with WhatsApp.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was for everyone, but definitely everybody on IG and Facebook were affected by the Meta outage.
Okay.
Easy Fix said, I think it was a test run for when the big players are exiting and prevent retail from doing so. Kind of like when Coinbase has their outages when the prices really move.
Yep.
How many people saw that? Was that yesterday that we were watching Coinbase go down? I think it was either yesterday or the day before. I want to say it was yesterday.
Okay.
Y'all
But
would
it
be up
happened,
4 o'clock in the morning.
you all know it happens. It happens on multiple occasions.
It happens
Yeah.
more often than it doesn't happen. And we talked about Bitcoin Chris showing us a screenshot of being able to purchase, or I should say his inability to purchase, I
Yep.
think it was $1,000 worth of Bitcoin on an exchange because they didn't have any. So
Well,
these are some of the things we want to take a look at. As far as Easy Fix's comment, look, these diabolical schemers tell you everything they're going to do up front. They told us what was going to happen in the Netflix drama, Leave the World Behind. We're already seeing that in February, AT&T had a significant outage, one that we've never seen before, where maybe hundreds of thousands, if not millions, not sure, of market share of AT&T customers did not have access to their phones. Today, on the great March 5th of 2024, we now saw a Facebook, Instagram outage. It is interesting, right? When we start seeing the ability for the average Joe Bag of Donuts, as Stacey Herbert would say, get a bit of a win and then something spooky happens,
yeah, yeah.
right? Whether it's an exchange unable to do something or social media platform outage, telephone, or I should say telecommunication network outage. It's very, very interesting as we sit and watch. Andy Schechtman, the CEO of Miles and Franklin, always had this great saying that Simon and I used to kind of laugh at. And he's always said, man, we live in interesting times.
Yes, may we live in interesting times. So I want to ask the chat room, what are some of the other things that you invest in, coins or, it could be real estate or
Tokens.
tokens.
Tell us a little bit about some of the things
New York Stock Exchange
that
stuff
you
like
invest in.
It really becomes interesting to hear that.
I want to say welcome to Fafa Fohai. I hope I said your handle right. Thank you so much for joining. Dear Bit, hello, love. She said, greetings. She had to scream at her bank for declining her purchases. So I guess she took some profit and they were like, this spending looks crazy. She also said this was practice cell phones, right? The AT&T outage last week. That was February. Here we are, first week of March. And Facebook and Meta. And no one kind of knew what was going on. Everybody thought they were getting hacked. It wasn't even like there was an outage. You were just on it, and then all of a sudden you were logged out of it, and then you couldn't log back on it, so you thought somebody overtook your account. I was messaging my friends like, go on there and report my page was hacked, so that, you know, I didn't want anybody hopping into our direct messages, you know, impersonating us, asking for money or doing weird stuff like, hey, I saw a video of you or something ridiculous. So Easy Fix said that they invest in stocks, crypto, PMs, and fiat.
So what kind of stocks, Easy? I mean, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, if you guys can be a little bit more specific. So we just kind of want to hear some of the stuff that you guys are doing, working on. While we're waiting for you guys to engage in the chat, I want to shout out a content cousin who's not on here yet, BK Crypto.
Yeah.
When you guys are watching our show or any show on the Gentleman of Network, you may want to watch it in some crypto swag. BK Crypto has really great site. You guys can go in the drop down, check out all of the swag that BK Crypto offers. We are not sponsored by them. They are our content cousins. We want to support them. If they got swag and you need swag, go on and support your content cousin, buy some swag, and watch all of your favorite shows on the Gentleman of Crypto.
Yeah.
Nerd Up Inc. Hello, peace family.
Peace.
Dear Bit said coin, stock, IRA, stash, jewelry, artwork. Oh, you like artwork? My father was an artwork aficionado, so he's got a lot of great pieces. That are, I mean, they're not Picasso's, but they're worth something. And he spent a significant amount of time collecting artwork.
Said jewelry.
She said jewelry. Yeah, she probably loves jewelry.
So you got a lot of gold chains and stuff like that. Cuban links.
Easy Fix said that they like to invest in commodity stocks, uranium, oil, natural gas, and gold.
Okay. I like it. Commodities is always strong. It's always a strong industry to invest into.
One of the reasons why Simon was bringing that up too is because as you take profits, again, if you need to treat yourself, please, we're not talking you out of treating yourself. But it's always a good idea to take some profits and run it back into other parts of your portfolio. So we just kind of wanted to bring to mind now what parts of that portfolio you may be interested in running some of your profits into.
Yeah, and just for the family out here, you speak on treating yourself. You see this right here. I don't know if this is some kind of platinum chain.
Don't listen to him, y'all.
I don't know what that is.
Tell him mind his business. Tell him mind his business.
She definitely treated herself.
This is not with profits, though. I had this before Bitcoin went on this run.
So she's treating herself no matter what. There you go.
I have to look nice for you, right? You're the trophy wife. I don't get to be a trophy wife. You be making me work out here. Dear Vic said a few great ones. Chains. Yeah, she likes jewelry. Yeah. The other thing we wanted to bring up, and I know that when we do the mindset stuff, y'all, I know it's as boring as watching paint dry on the wall. But the mindset stuff is so important, especially when we go into details about some of the aspects of the mindset that we should really tweak, acknowledge, look at, examine, focus on, work on, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to say this. When we talk about getting your paperwork in order, one of the things that people fail to do, and I don't want to call it laziness, I think that is just overlooked. It's an oversight, right? We are dollar cost averagers. We're going to call us DCAers, right? It's part of that Bitcoin profile we've been talking about. And if we're looking at that profile, one of your responsibilities, one of your obligations, especially if you have assets, commodities, investments, et cetera, that you're leaving for anybody at all, you absolutely have to go over those investments quarterly. You have to make updates to your paperwork quarterly. Yes, you have to keep track of your inventory quarterly, right? Somebody like Crit Work, KW1, shout out to KW1.
K-Dub.
She is our resident subject matter expert on wallets, right?
Yeah.
She has an array of wallets, but it's easy to have more than one wallet. And then after a while, lose track of all of the stuff that's on it, right? You got your wallets, you got your FANG stocks, you have this. In a sense, it's abundance, right? Because you are putting away in storehouses all over, but you want to have accurate inventory of your storehouse every single quarter. April 1st is coming up. April 1st, for those of you guys who don't do stuff on quarters, not sure how the quarters fall, April 1st is going to be day one of quarter two.
And it goes back to a 12-week year. So April 1st will be the end of your 12-week year.
Right.
And the start of the next, I'm sorry, at the start of your next year.
So you want to absolutely spend that week from the 1st through the 7th, or I should say the 6th, right? You want to spend that week reviewing the things you've done since January 1st, right? Quarter one earnings. How did you do? Quarter one losses. How did you do? Right? If you added new items to your inventory, if you got rid of some items in your inventory. Usually when Bitcoin starts to NGU, as we like to say, numbers go up, some things kind of get obliterated in the process. Certain like tokens and altcoins, whatever y'all want to call them, they kind of get obliterated in the dust, right? So
for my Bitcoiners, we did wonderful in quarter one. It was wonderful.
Absolutely. So you want to take the time that week, schedule it. If you don't use a planner, if y'all, and all this stuff is free, right? You got a supercomputer in your pocket. We can't stay too long. We got a supercomputer in our pocket. We want to use it for good, right? We want to use it for more than finding out what lawsuit did he up under this week. We want to look it up more than what did Cat Williams say on this podcast. Get your calendars out. Schedule a meeting with yourself, by yourself, with your accountability partner, your business partner, your partner in life, whether that's your spouse or your significant other, whoever it is, right? But if it's just you, set the meeting up by yourself, right? For yourself. And start going over that 12-week year. These were my quarter summary earnings. These were our quarter summary losses. This is what I added to the inventory. This is maybe what I got rid of. I sold all of it. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I got my profits. I'm moving on to something else. This is what I'm researching.
Yes.
Right? I'm looking into this new thing or these new things or whatever is happening, and you want to document it somewhere safe, but somewhere. A lot of times, Black folks like to do stuff in their heads, and above all, the heart is deceiving. It is deceptive. You think you have everything in your brain, and you'll be shocked at the things you forget, you overlooked, you miswrote, the number's not right, it's not accurate, so on and so forth. So you definitely want to take time to schedule for yourself a meeting of a quarter one summary review. Oh, there goes KW1. I just called your name, girl.
K-Dub, what's up?
Dear Bit said, I want to sell everything for Bitcoin when I'm losing my mind. I agree, right? Sometimes you just want to consolidate everything and just be bothered with this one thing when you have 1,000 things to keep up with.
Yeah, this is true. It can be a headache. It can be a headache.
Black Peridot, we want to welcome you to the room.
Yes,
KW1, Crit Work, we always want to welcome you to the room. Oh, Black Peridot, it sounds like Black Peridot has a by myself meeting every day at 2 a.m. At least I think that's what you mean, Black Peridot.
Let me read it.
It says at 2 a.m. every morning. So it sounds like Black Peridot has a by myself meeting every morning at 2. Let freedom ring. Thank you so much for joining us. Yep, started the day off with a by myself meeting.
Shout out to Capadonna.
So yeah, Capadonna that was a bar, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Black Peridot. I'm glad I got it right. I just want to make sure. So we wanted to kind of hit you with some of these updates.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I think we're okay on time if that's East Coast time.
Oh yeah, because we're meeting at 6 p.m. East Coast.
Yeah, so
I'm tripping, y'all.
Yeah, so I think we're okay.
We're okay on time, y'all. We work out of more than one time zone, and every now and then I get fuzzy on it. All right, so there's that Have You By Myself meeting, your quarter one summary, earnings. We're going to keep reminding you. April 1st, go buy yourself a calendar. Get yourself, for those of you who are serious, again, we're not sponsored by the Clever Fox, but the Clever Fox Agendas on Amazon. It's the 13-week achievement planner. Definitely get that. You can use a notebook. You can use one of these digital apps. I'm a little old school. There is a significant correlation between the energy of your hand moving to your brain. So I like to handwrite stuff. You know, my children, they're more like, oh, we do everything on our phone, Mom. So, Black Paradise, yeah, I know it's almost 5, but I have 6 in my mind. So I was thinking, I don't know what I was thinking.
No, that's okay. Like you said, work across time zones.
Zones, yeah, I'll be time zoned out some days. We wanted to also kind of bring to your attention some of the forecasting for a Bitcoin future, right? Like we said, when you're taking profit, some of you kind of just joined. As BlackRock, Fidelity, MicroStrategies, all of these large corporations begin to hodl large amounts of a very scarce asset, right? Bitcoin is ultimate scarcity. We're coming up to the halving. So instead of having access to 900 coins per day, we're only going to have access to 450 coins a day. You don't want to squander your Bitcoin for any reason. And if you do take profits, you want to be very strategic about the profits you take so that you always, always, always have some Bitcoin in your inventory. Should we move to a future where they want us off the map and it's not so accessible?
Yeah, and then like you said, you just got to flip it back into something else. I would say that it's scarce. This isn't financial advice, but you know, you want to always have something scarce in your portfolio.
Always.
You know, you want to have that. You know, if as she says, I can't remember the number, but it was a 4,500
What, babe?
that they were buying up per day. BlackRock.
Oh, I don't remember. I have to go find that article.
Yeah, I can't
It's in the last show, you guys, though. So if you're trying to get that number, I
Yeah,
mentioned it in the
I'm
article.
sorry, I don't know the exact
But
number.
they have more than the United States government. So,
Yeah, they're buying up more than that is being mined per day.
and their shopping or their consumption habits are very similar to the real estate consumption,
Yeah, because
right? So if you're seeing how they're buying up real estate, you're seeing they demonize Bitcoin, but the minute they had access to it, they're just flying through the inventory. And the thing is that your average Joe who only needs X amount of capital to be life-changing,
yeah,
they're willing to exchange that. So some of these, that's why we talk about the Bitcoin profile, the Bitcoin mindset, right? So yes, you do want to take profits. It's something that you should do as an investor, but you want to be so strategic and so methodical that you always have Bitcoin in your inventory, because we're watching, we are going to come to a certain point where I don't think it'll be as easily accessible as it is now. We are seeing some people having trouble accessing it off of certain exchanges and stuff. They got to kind of look around as it goes through its explosion. If we're having that type of trouble at 68,000, 69,000, what's that going to look like at 125,000?
Oh.
What's it going to look like at 242,000?
yeah, it's gonna be out of control. It's gonna be out of control. But the people, you know, with some of us gonna be sitting back and just chilling, like, you know, the stuff that you hodl. That's why I'm a big fan of the Sun Exchange, and we always mention the Sun Exchange, where you can earn Bitcoin through solar energy, and you just put it in the wallet and let it grow. You know, and you know, she talks about S Miles, where you can earn your Bitcoin, earn Sats through walking and exercise
And shopping, like lobby
and
and phone.
shopping.
Oh, it's just that I don't shop on there.
Oh, okay. And shopping part of it.
Yep. So S Miles, you can shop and do activity, Lolly Fold. And just like we talk about the wealth mindset teaches you should have passive income from at least 7 streams, I believe is what they say. Think about Bitcoin like income, and you want to have as many streams of incoming Bitcoin as possible. When I say Bitcoin, I really mean Satoshis, right? If we want to have precision of language. So like he said, your dollar cost averaging on wherever you get your Bitcoin Satoshis from, you want to, Zay, who's coming out with his book, we're going to be talking with him later on this evening, not live, but just so we can get some updates on his book, trading cards, et cetera, et cetera. There is somebody I owe an email to regarding the trading cards, and I haven't responded yet because I do want to talk to Zay real quick so I can give you actual updates. So if you've been waiting on my email, that's why. Hopefully I can email you this evening once I connect with him. But his book is coming out here in the near future, and he gives out 33 free ways to earn Bitcoin.
It's crazy.
Right? So we want to, some of them are time consuming, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're going to trade something in for something, right? Just like you trade your time at work for income, you probably have to trade your time to do whatever it is you need to do in order to, you trade your steps in to get Satoshis, you trade your mortgage payment in to get some Satoshis back. We saw a gentleman on our Facebook feed, he already had almost 200,000 or 300,000 Bitcoin because he pays his mortgage.
Bitcoin, Satoshi.
I'm sorry, Satoshis. 200 or 300 Satoshis because he pays his mortgage. I want to say it was Fold or Lolly.
It's Fold.
It's
he pays
Fold.
up the Fold card.
And he's just showed like what he got in exchange for just doing what he has to do any single way anyway. So he got all those sats that he's stacking, and that's just probably one way he's stacking those sats.
Yeah, because he's probably using it on purchases. You know, using the card.
But he's probably also got, other streams of Satoshis coming in, doing various things.
That's a smart man. Let's check out the chat. Anybody in there?
Let freedom ring. When you get a chance, send me an email. That way I can send you updates on Zay's book. We really want to push the book. Well, they're not content cousins, but we're going to call them content cousins for now. They're really like content big brothers because this is their network. But the fact that there's a whole entire chapter on 33 free ways, it's just like if somebody said, here's 33 ways to earn fiat for free, Muggs would be on that. They would be all over it. So we need to do the same thing because, again, it's ultimate scarcity.
Ultimate scarcity. What else? I'm sorry, chat room. I always like to give them shout out to the chat room.
Let's see. Black Peridot wants to know if we have locked down a date to do I Trust Capital with the Chief. Not yet. The Chief has already started his own platform, his own show. So he is aware of it, but we want to give him room to kind of like get his feet wet with doing this podcast. And he's out networking physically, talking to retirees, people who are on the way to retirement, orange pilling them. So as soon as we lock one down, or if he does his own show on I Trust Capital, we will make sure to let y'all know where you can catch that, what time, and then if he has a replay link, we'll share it in the drop down for you. L.A. Ramon, thank you so much for joining us. It says Grayscale is doing a new fund, Polkadot, and a few others will make up their portfolio. Okay, so Grayscale has a new fund for Polkadot. Black Peridot said Tesla took ownership of their solar panels when they acquired Solar City and won't give them back. Black Peridot, I'm interested in that story. I don't know how much detail you can put in a chat. But tell us a little bit more about what happened. And what, like when you say your solar panels, is it solar panels in exchange for Satoshis? Is it solar panels to kind of bring down your electricity bill? Just tell us just give us a little bit more detail about the details behind that. Let freedom ring. I got you. Go on and email me so I know where I can send the information about Zay's book. Black Paradise said, yes, Satoshi Slim, it was a scam they pulled off and shafted many. I really want the details on that now. It says Tesla took do you mean acres? It says SCRES. If you can just clarify Black Paradise, I would appreciate that. Crazy Bronx Don, welcome to the room. That is the Colonel. He is a Fulbright Colonel. We will respect you as such.
The Colonel.
The SRECS. I'm still not sure what that is. Anyway, tell me what that means, because I'm not sure what that means. PFC Wells, that's track with 2Ks. That is our content cousin.
Luke.
We are looking to link up here shortly. I think you said you had to make some changes, Trey, so just let me know.
Yeah.
But your content cousin and I
Yeah, we in the game.
are always ready to link up. Want to hear a bit more about some of the upcoming discussion items.
And I'll say to PFC Wells, great show Monday morning. That was a great show. I learned a lot about some of the stuff. They're gonna be seizing Bitcoin in the UK, and it's getting crazy out here, man. The streets is getting crazy. You said Coinbase is linked to Interpol. I said, oh man, it's getting crazy.
I had heard that before, Trey,
the streets is
with 2Ks, but
great show.
I could never find any like tangible
like articles and stuff.
Right. So I appreciate that, because that was one of my real conspiracy like theories.
Yeah, that's a great.
I don't like if it's still a theory. I don't want to like tell nobody nothing. But if I can find some vetting, some hardcore, got the receipts, then we'll talk about it. So I can't wait. I don't know if you're doing our show, if we're doing your show, whatever it is. When the content cousins get together, it's always a great, knowledgeable, fun time. So we're looking forward to that. He said it was Binance who joined the message network.
Oh, my bad. It's Binance, not Coinbase. I get them mixed up. I don't use none.
That's because they all doing the same foolishness. They're like little agents that come in and find ways to participate in what we're doing, so they can like be the saboteurs from the inside. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So don't get me started with that, because it triggers me. It does. It triggers me. There was a third thing we were supposed to tell them today.
It was something that you wanted to talk about.
I can't remember. No me recuerdo. I told them about the quarterly summary, because that's coming up for us here on the first. Me and you. That should be a fun day. The inventory I told them to do. There was something else. Oh, we want to talk to y'all about your fiat factory, aka the banks, traditional finance, and I want to tell you about some of the tomfoolery that they are going on with. So Simon and I, we keep reading articles. Y'all know Chase Bank is closing down business accounts left and right for one reason or another, and we never ever learn the actual reason, right? So it's one reason or another, but we never know the reason. So there is a Wells Fargo executive. Y'all look this up, read it for yourself. There was a Wells Fargo executive who had access to 8 accounts. These accounts belong to the elderly retired, disabled and elderly, et cetera, et cetera. So they were almost like a very special class of people, and he had access to their accounts, and he stole more than $1.2 million from each of those accounts from 2014 to I believe 2020. Fact checkers, fact check me. And what's interesting is in one of the cases, let's call it a legal guardian. Let's call it like a person who could be your power of attorney, right? Whether it's your daughter, your sister, whoever, somebody in your best interest, filed the proper paperwork in order to have financial power of attorney over a specific account where he stole $566,000, but he never filed it. So that like he kept frustrating the filing so that the person couldn't have access or oversight to the account which he had access to and was embezzling from. So what does that have to do with Bitcoin? What does that have to do with the world of DeFi? Unfortunately, many of us are still tethered to the TradFi system. So it's important that we're keeping track on some of the diabolical things they are doing in that system.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And I brought that up because notice I said there were 8 specific accounts. They were all elderly. Most of them were disabled. They were all retired. This is predatory at this point. He understood that he could embezzle from these accounts by preying on them, staying on top of them, money little by little. The report also reads that he stole the money and transferred it to accounts in non-reportable amounts. So one, you're an executive for Wells Fargo, you know better than that, right? Two, keep in mind, he know how to run the game. He pulled the Kobe Bryant on them. He knew the playbook, so he played it just that way, where he didn't have to report the over $1.2 million because of the way he spread it out. He did it from their accounts to where they kind of wouldn't sort of notice it, but he understood their profiles, so they likely wouldn't notice it. And the one that did have somebody in their best interest, he frustrated the legal process so much that they never had the ability to have oversight to that traditional finance account. Now, many of you are wondering, that sounds like grand larceny, right? $1.2 million and more than that. How much time did he get?
How much?
4 years. Right? And I understand that prison's not a friendly place. It's not a great place.
Nope.
But if you're preying, I'm talking predatory now, on disabled, elderly, retired people, he should have got way much more time than that. Now, here's the kicker to the story, it's the plot twist. The executive for Wells Fargo, who represented himself as a Wells Fargo executive, you would think Wells Fargo would pay that money back to the victims.
Of course not.
Victims only got partial payment, and they didn't report how much of the over 1.2 million was refunded to those victims who were defrauded by a bank representative, executive at that. This ain't like your $10 hour teller. This is an executive for the bank. So you have all of these things working where it almost feel like they covered.
So does this executive, what type of person was this executive? Was he
That's a good question.
Was he an other?
I don't know, but I'm likely, right? Because I can't remember his name, so I couldn't even pick up on. He wasn't us, because they'd have put him under the jail if we'd have did something like that.
Other.
But we also, it's important that we're also keeping track on what TradFi is doing. How are they operating? How are they moving? A lot of us, unfortunately, when we are moving our Satoshis or whatever other tokens or whatever it is we got going on, TradFi is the intermediary, right? We are turning it into fiat in order to turn it into something else. Oftentimes, we are able to kind of do wallet-to-wallet type of transactions, but we also want to be realistic about the world we live in, right? Unfortunately, I can't pay the expenses we have here in Mexico in Bitcoin, right? It's just not realistic for our particular family. So we do all we can to optimize how we move and so on and so forth. That may also be some of your realities. So we want to keep track on what's going on with TradFi. Other news in TradFi, many of you may be seeing your Wells Fargo or your Chase banks closing. Don't be alarmed, right? What they're doing is they're performing something called consolidation. I know they haven't been talking about the smart cities recently, but they're quiet about it because they are in planning stage, right? They are up against the clock. They're behind in a lot of the agenda, the objective meetings that they're supposed to have met, their objective targets that they were supposed to have met. So what they're doing is they're consolidating. They're closing the branches in order to open branches strategically so that once the smart cities are set up and designated, there is a Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, et cetera, whoever they own. You guys know that in some of the bank failings, Wells Fargo, well, Chase, not Wells Fargo, but Chase saved a few of those banks. So those banks will also be a part of the inventory that will be approximately 15. It's supposed to be 15 minutes within each smart city designation, right? It shouldn't be outside of that zone. But I'm just going to say, for the sake of accuracy, 15 to 20 minutes from the designations that they're planning. All right, so let's see what the peoples are saying. Oh, okay. So Trek with 2Ks, aka PFC Wells, aka Content Cousin, said Coinbase is probably a part of it too, haven't gone public about it. It would make sense since they want to grow the European market share. And just understand that when we talk about these system integrations, they will do, they're mercenaries, right? They will do whatever it takes, any backdoor meeting that needs to be had, they will do whatever it takes to meet their objectives. So, Track with 2Ks, aka PFC Wells, we thank you for the work that you do, because you do dig down deep and really get the information exposed and out there for all of us to see. PFC Wells is in the gym getting those sats. Shout out to Trek with 2Ks, earning Satoshis passively. So that's perfect. Satoshi Slim, that's messed up, and unfortunately, it'll continue to happen because of the great divide between the elderly and the new technology. Even if you're all over technology, again, some of them are disabled. You know, disabled can mean blind, disabled can mean legally blind, it could mean maybe I can't use technology because I've had amputations. I mean, it can mean anything, right? So even if they were technologically inclined, they were a pool of people who absolutely needed some type of oversight. And when I say oversight, I'm talking diligent oversight.
Yeah, diligent oversight, maybe from family members or something like that. That's what we do. You know,
And the one had it, and that's what he did. He frustrated the legal ability for that oversight to be had. PFC Wells said he layered the funding path. Yes, he did. White collar crime, he knew he could beat. That was Black Paradigm. They don't go to Sing Sing. That's funny. They don't go to Rikers either. I'm gonna tell you that now. If you know, you know. I missed this story. I have to go back. Wells Fargo. Okay, real quick. If you know, you know. So a Wells Fargo executive had access to eight specific cases. They were elderly, they were disabled, and they were retired. Out of the eight, he was able to embezzle over $1.2 million from their Wells Fargo accounts. One of the eight had, I'm gonna say, a family member or some type of guardianship in their best interest who filed the paperwork to be their, let's say, power of financial attorney. And instead of the executive filing the paperwork properly so that person can have the diligent oversight that they requested, he frustrated the process by never filing the paperwork because obviously he didn't want them to A, have access to the account, B, close the account, C, see what he did and report him, D, I can go on and on and on. So that's what happened. And Simon and I, you know, as a first family of Bitcoin, we want to always give y'all that measured, well-rounded approach. We don't ever want this to be so narrow-minded that we miss the components that our dollar cost averaging, that our Bitcoining are involved in.
Yeah, never. And I want to go back to this this fraud situation, this defrauding. Remember, the baby boomers are the richest class of people that ever lived. So there will always be fraud ran at them. So I don't know how old people are, you guys, you know, here, and you know, it could be your parents, if you're getting to that age, whatever. There will always be fraud ran at you because you're the richest class of people who ever lived.
And let me make something clear too, right? With the amounts that we're discussing, like I said, the particular one who had the power financial attorney filed, but it was never filed. These accounts, he stole over 566,000. That's $500,000. So these are wealth accounts, right? This isn't everyday checking at Wells Fargo. These are private wealth. MMS, they will. They'll steal money from the everyday checking too, right? But these are private wealth accounts. These are money market accounts. This is your private wealth banking that he had access to. And, you know, you have the profile, you have the people, you know, their date of birth, you have any special things on the account, right? And it makes you vulnerable because you furnish that information in order to protect you, not knowing that this particular person, and really all of them, let's be honest, are utilizing it against you, right? They're weaponizing it against you. And if you know, you know, I don't know if you heard this part. This is the executive of Wells Fargo. He was working in his professional position at the time he did this, and Wells Fargo is only paying out a portion of the 1.2, which is over 1.2. It's closer to 1.3. And they don't tell you, they don't report how much of it they did pay back the victims, when really they should be on the hook for 100% of it.
And, he was only given 4 years.
And he was only given 4 years.
It'd be a federal prison, like you said. You go down Leavenworth or somewhere.
And nobody knows the money that he embezzled, where is it? So after you do your 4 years, and maybe less, right? Because he's not a criminal who's gonna be getting in trouble while he's in there.
Well, I heard you gotta do 80% of your
Time, so it's 80% of 4 years is what?
It's 3 years and change.
Right, so even if you get out 3 years and change, right, let's give it the benefit of the doubt, there's still 1.2, almost 1.3 million hanging out there somewhere.
Hanging out somewhere.
Okay, so now you don't have to go back if you know, you know. Prepping to have a foot in each community door.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit more, Satoshi Slim, what that means. They go to sleep comfortably. Yes, they do. They don't lose an ounce of sleep when they do stuff like that. The Colonel wants to know, when is the next World Cup? Will it be in Mexico City? I have no idea. I don't follow soccer. I don't care how World Cup it is.
Well, I thought
it would be nice to hook up just before, just after. Come on down.
Well, no.
Whether they coming or not.
I think I heard Reginald say it might be in Mexico City.
I surely don't want to be in Mexico City if the World Cup gonna be there. That's gonna be.
Oh, it's gonna be crowded.
Mexico City is
busy.
Manhattan on steroids.
Yeah.
Colonel. When nothing's happening. The World Cup's gonna be here. It's gonna be.
If you look it up, I think it's a little bit over 21 million people who live in Mexico City.
It's gonna be worse than New Year's Eve in Times Square.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
For like a week, if not longer.
The World Cup's longer than a week.
How long is it gonna be there?
It's gonna be here for a little minute.
Oh, I'm going to El Salvador or something. Colonel Wells, we talk about it, but just the thought of that makes me want to go to a whole nother country as far away as possible.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wear my USA American shirt down there.
So disrespectful.
And they're gonna jump on me.
But yeah, Colonel, it's gonna be on a normal, when nothing's happening, it's like
it's crazy.
Times Square, New Year's Eve. With the World Cup here, it's gonna be like that on crack. It's just everybody's gonna be here. People are gonna be all over.
There's gonna be people from all over the world, though. It's gonna be people from all,
I ain't looking forward to that.
They follow their teams.
Everybody's going, the restaurants are gonna be full, and people are gonna be in the streets, and
people are gonna be drunk, and they're gonna raise the rates on all the hotels and stuff like that. But that's how they make money.
And we're an hour and a half away, and I'm already thinking like, oh, we're gonna go to Bitcoin Beach or something. If y'all let me know the date so I can get missing. But if you come, Colonel, I won't get missing. I'm serious. If you say you coming, I will put my New Yorker pride to the side. It's almost like asking me to get back on the subway train during rush hour. I will put my pride to the side and do it for you. It's going to be nuts.
It's gonna be crazy. Cabs in the streets, horn beeping. You know that stuff. We live out in the country, so we're not city people like that
anymore.
So.
Right, been there and done that. Yeah. I grew up in New York. I be wanting to leave all of that behind.
That's pretty funny. I'm gonna deal with
that. Any other updates?
No, I was just reading the stuff, but that was okay.
That was it.
I think we talked about everything.
I think we did. Once I remembered the banking thing.
Yeah. We just keep on stacking.
As Bitcoin continues to try to really push through that 68,000, have your plan ready, right? We always say have a plan for expected money, have a plan for unexpected money. We don't know once it breaks through there how far it's going to go, how quickly it's going to get there, in the humps and bumps along the way. So always have your plan together. Write your plan out. These are some of the things I would like to do with my Bitcoin profits. These are all of the the places that I draw in income from Bitcoin. These are all of the areas where I collect Satoshis, whether you pay for them, whether you get them free, if there's a mix, however it's done. Have a listing, have an inventory list. These are all the places where I can take profits from, where I have access to profits.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I going to take the profits? Where am I going to leave them? So on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely you want to operate your investment portfolio the way a business would.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because we're people, we often separate business from personal. And the most successful people run their households like a business. It's the most efficient way to not squander time, to not squander funds,
Mm-hmm.
right? To be disciplined, to have everything in order. And it really is a great way to help raise your children so that they have value for the wealth that you're building and know how to continue on your legacy.
Yeah, and for my technical analysis people, we talked about it earlier, but we'll say it again. That all-time high is resistance. When we break that, there is no top to the chart, and that's the greatest. That's the thing we're waiting for, because if it breaks all-time high, no top to the chart, then there is no upward resistance.
Right, so
There's no
definitely have a
upward
plan,
resistance.
right? Your plans can change. You can edit your plans. You can update your plans. Use a pencil if you're not comfortable writing your plan in pen, right? Whatever you need to do, but definitely start thinking about these things. Start mulling it over. Ask yourself these questions before you go to bed so your subconscious, right, which is the more accurate brain, can start to give you some of the solutions to your questions, start giving you the answers to your question. I'm going to leave you with one more exercise. Again, I know people don't like the mindset thing, but I think it's incredible. It's something Simon and I started doing, and I can't tell you how empowering it's been. So I read a book by Brian Tracy. The name of the book is The Psychology of Selling. We're not selling anything, but we often talk about certain mindsets having absolute utility in any facet, in any arena, for anything you do in life.
Yes.
One of the things or suggestions that Brian Tracy recommends in his book is when you're goal planning, you want to have your goal in the form of a question. And you want to be specific, and we'll go through an example in just a moment. And then you want to write 20 solutions that you can think of in order to get towards that goal or to actually hit it, as specific as you possibly can. Now, the 20 solutions may take you all day to do, but you want to get all 20 within the day. So for some people that we've been talking to who are kind of employing it, what we've decided to do is ask the question the night before. That way, when we wake up, we can kind of get it all done in a day. So, Erin, when you tell me to do this exercise,
Good idea.
tell me a little bit more. Let's say you work for Corporation A, and you're currently making $80,000 a year. And you say to yourself, you form it in a question because you want to make more money, right? How can I go from 80,000 US dollars per year in salary to 162,000 within the next 12 to 18 months? And you can see how specific that is, right? There are exact numbers. There's a timetable there. You even put the name of the company you work for, but it doesn't necessarily have to come from that company. You want to write down 20 ways to get there. You can write a book. That's passive income. You can do a side gig. You can work towards a promotion. You can look for another job. And you just keep writing all the solutions that you can come up with. Here is what we learned. You will have at least 5,000 ideas a year if you did that every day. Just 5 days a week, not even 7.
Yeah, this is true.
Right? You have over 5,000 ideas a year, but you will have exponentially more. You got to do the 5,000 times the 20, right? Exponentially more solutions that you can work towards in order to hit a lot of these points. And the nail in the coffin for you, right? The thing that's really going to drive that home is when you come up with those 20 solutions, you have to act on one of them that week. So your mindset is now forming questions because, as the great poet Nazir Jones says, you are both the question and the answer. So you ask your question, you form your solutions, and then you implement because your solutions now become your action plan.
There you go.
Some of your
That's
solutions may
money in the
even
bank.
become the new question. Like, hey, I wrote this down here because this can get me here, but maybe I need to know, but how do I get here first? And then the next day, that can be your question, and then you can have the 20 solutions for that, okay? We are think tanks, we are idea generators, and too often I hear our people in our community complain that nobody's helping them. When at the end of the day, you have the ability to help yourself. Networking is great because we do get ideas, we share ideas, we learn stuff. You know, for those of you who just hopped on, we talked about how much we learned from Trek with 2Ks on his show. He's on our show learning whatever he's learning. Everybody's learning from each other and offering and contributing. But you want to be the king of your own domain, right? Your own kingdom. You are the king of your domain. You are the queen of your domain. So it's also an exercise in diligence. It's an exercise in consistency. It's an exercise in self-discipline.
Discipline.
And if you do this every day, just imagine how the up-leveling is going to come in significant waves, but quite often. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as we keep talking about Bitcoin breaking through, finally breaking through that 68,000, 69,000 mark. We don't know where it's going to go. We don't know how fast it's going to get there. We don't know what type of life-changing opportunities it is going to bring with it. So you want to sit down and start planning, start asking questions. The greatest solutions in life, the most applicable things that are life-changing, started with a question.
Mm-hmm.
And you are the question and the answer. And I tell you what, you start asking yourself questions, you'll see how the universe will answer your questions. You're going to come across that YouTube video that answers the question you had and adds to your list of 20 solutions. You're going to be in a conversation with somebody who just so happens to bring up the very thing you had on your mind. It is the law of attraction. Like attracts like. You are going to attract that thing to you, right? It's not magic or mumbo jumbo. It's simply an energy that you are manifesting, and it goes round and around in a great feedback loop, right? Unfortunately, too, the things that you focus on that you don't want, that should come your way too. So you might as well focus on the things you want. You might as well focus on the outcomes that you desire. You might as well focus on the work you got to put in order to get to that level you want to be, to live the lifestyle you want to live. I'll be the first to tell you there's nothing fabulous or glamorous about the lifestyle Simon and I live, but it is a charmed lifestyle, and we are very proud of the lifestyle that we built for ourselves and for our children. So I don't want any of you to think that if Bitcoin went to 220,000 by Friday, that you won't have any more problems. Biggie told us it's more money, more problems. But it's not that it's more money, more problems, it's that along the way for your wealth building, you didn't learn to resolve and solve problems that you had. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Typically, people who have access to a lot of income, and we're talking about the entertainers, yes, we're talking about sports and entertainment. They're pulled out of an impoverished environment, thrown into an environment where they have access to a lot of cash. They didn't get the mindset shift that should have come with the wealth building it. This is not your reality. This is not your story, right? Let's say Bitcoin go to 500,000 by December. We don't know. We don't know. It's a Merry Christmas, right? But you want to begin to learn and practice the techniques for solving the problems that come along with a significant amount of life-changing capital.
Yeah, and we're going to do a show on that probably this Saturday about entertainers and
Sports,
whatnot.
drugs, and entertainment.
Yeah, we're going to do that, and we're going to talk about that.
On Hip Hop Saturday.
Yeah, we're going to break that down. So, yeah, it's a fly in here.
So, but that's really all we want to bring to your attention. But these are the things you want to mull over in your mind now, right? Before the capital hits, before the life-changing opportunities come to you. A lot of people don't get the access to, like, capitalize on the life-changing opportunity because they weren't ready for it. They asked for something they weren't ready for, and then when it came, they really couldn't, or just let it pass. They let that cup pass from them because they weren't prepared. And if there's anything that the First Family of Bitcoin wants to leave with y'all, is you get prepared, you stay prepared so that you don't miss life-changing opportunities. You're always strategic. So if something comes up, it doesn't put a hiccup into the plans and the visions that you have for yourself, for your family, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And those are the crucial areas of life that we, as melanated people, we miss. Legacy families teach their children this. They 3, 4 years old, they get taught this. Right? We end up learning this by trial and fire when we're 56 years old. Right? Game already over and everything. So we're starting fresh. We have a plan for our expected money, a plan for our unexpected money. Many of us are going to leave this show. They're going to go get a notebook. They're going to come up with the problem, and they're going to practice coming up with the 20 solutions. They're going to try to implement one, and they're going to keep practicing that as often as they possibly can. Simon and I do it every day.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can implement more than one of the 20. You can implement multiple of the 20. But this is why Erin writes everything down, because there's so much housekeeping to be done in order to be great that she needs to keep it all organized. And that's why I tell y'all, the Bible says the heart above all is deceptive. When he says your heart in the Bible, he means your mind. You think you got everything up here. You don't. Write it down. Use your supercomputer to capture it, right? Talk to your phone, do whatever you need to do to get your ideas down on there, right? And do whatever it takes to change your life. For us, it's not even about us changing our life. We are doing whatever it takes to change the lives of not only our children, but the grandchildren we have yet to welcome into the world. Right? And that's where the life-changing opportunities come in. So we love y'all. Today is Tuesday, though. There's a Thursday show, no?
Yes, it's supposed to be Thursday.
Well, we don't have a theme for Thursday.
No, we'll run it back. We'll catch
I might
up.
do like a book talk Thursday or something. But I know that the mindset shows aren't as popular as when we're talking Bitcoin, when we're talking about trashy TradFi, right? It's not as exciting, but it's necessary. It's a conversation we should have. If y'all have children, we use our shows as part of the homeschool curriculum for our children.
Yes, maybe we do.
Right? So if you wanted to teach your children action planning, I just gave it to you. This is what y'all doing this weekend, y'all homework assignment. This is y'all project for the week. This weekend, you're gonna write a problem down. You're gonna teach them how to be specific. You're gonna teach them how to sit and think, and they are capable of coming up with the 20, even if it takes them all day, with the 20 solutions. Treat them, reward them, engage them, make it fun. We want not just your children, your nieces, your nephews, your godchildren, whatever children you have safe access to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And say, this is action plan. This is what adults do. And this is how adults solve and resolve problems.
Mm-hmm.
These are the CEOs of corporations. These are the entrepreneurs who make it.
Yes.
Right? And this is the legacy that we actually want to leave. It's no sense in buying up a whole bunch of Bitcoin, leaving it for some kids who don't know how to manage the Bitcoin, who haven't had the values instilled in them to build and be the 2.0 from you, right?
Yeah.
You want the children now turn around and say, not only did we do the problem and the solutions, but I want to show you, I want to expand on a good way to get this going.
Yeah.
Maybe they come up with their own business. And you don't know what the activity is going to spark, but this is what your top salesmen do every day. This is what your CEOs, this is what they get paid to do. They have to come up with the vision of the corporation. My husband, bless his soul, while I don't have the gift of vision, he teaches me how he puts his visions together. He teach me. So it's kind of like LeBron, he got the natural God-gifted talent to play basketball, but he'll turn around and teach you how he can tweak and structure his game, right? Will you ever be as good as LeBron? Probably not, but what he taught you helped to tighten you up to make you a better player, right? So y'all know I give him,
That's a good analogy. I
right?
like that.
Independent women, let me tell y'all, you're gonna start emailing me. I can be good without my husband. I will be a professional woman without my husband. I would do well in life. I am greatness with him. I am excellence with him because he draws out of me the things that I don't even realize, see, or is aware that is there. And he does it with no agenda. Absolutely no agenda. I'm not gonna make you great, so in hopes that you make us a whole bunch of money and now I'm your Beyonce. We ain't doing that, right? But I am excellence with him. I am greatness with him. Would I be fine in life? Yeah, I'd be fine in life if I didn't have my husband. I wouldn't be excellence. I wouldn't be a crown. I wouldn't be as innovative, as thought-provoking. My mind loves new things, and he's constantly feeding it new things. So I implore y'all to try. I was so happy to come across it. That's a great book. You guys can get that book for free. It's Brian Tracy, The Psychology of Selling. It's a white and red book with Brian Tracy on the cover. It's free on Kindle Unlimited. It's $10 if you want to own the copy. That book is probably worth $1,000 US. And that's why I'm so excited for Zay's book to come out, because I already know if a Brian Tracy book got me, like, oh, okay, we're gonna write all of these things down. I know Zay's book is going to be that much further. And we got to get reading to be a part of our arsenal. I know a lot of you prefer YouTube. You can sit and listen while you cook. The Colonel said he hikes and he listens to his podcasts, his YouTube influencers, etc. You got to get into reading. There is something that your eyes scanning across the page, getting the information, it creates the ultimate neural pathways in your brain. It is good for your soul.
Okay.
But we love y'all. We're going to check y'all on Thursday. Mamba out.
Yeah, that's it. Mamba out.